Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. If you've been around the Fallout community for a year or two, you would have encountered at least a small bit of media regarding Fallout Brotherhood of Steel. Most of the putting it as...
It's the biggest piece of dog shit.
2 years or so ago, I embarked on the quest to find the truth behind those statements. And this is what I found. When you begin doing something or playing something with someone else's thoughts in mind, you will start to see it that way before you formulate your own thoughts. The controls seemed weird, the gameplay was tremendously boring, and I didn't like it. But then I bought Fallout 2 on Steam, and with the help of a friend, it turned out to be a masterpiece. But then, after a year, I decided to play Brotherhood of Steel with cheats just for the fun of it. And it turns out, it was shockingly quite fun. The first glance you will have is going to be the ton of sexualized and demeaning content. But fear not, because unlike other games that try and attract hormonal teenagers, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel has a story, and shockingly, there is only 2 small parts in the game that feel off, and the 2 of them are sorta optional. Unlike other videos, I don't want to explain the entire game, but we'll cut right to the point. Fallout Brotherhood of Steel was made by Interplay, the mother company that produced and developed the first game. Then they produced the second game. Producing, in my understanding, means financing the game and giving the human resources to work on it, like Konami did with the Metal Gear games developed by Kojima. Therefore, they actually started the game in the middle of the first Fallout games. They could have done what Bethesda did in 3 with the Enclave, but they didn't. At the same time, Black Isle was developing Van Buren, and Tactics just released, which was also produced by Interplay. So Interplay parted from what they produced, respecting what Black Isle was doing and did some time before. There are clear elements that were inherited in Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, the first one being that the Brotherhood of Steel was a more open faction to ghouls, as seen in some renders, and the adoption of the Midwest power armor that Rhombus has in a more medieval tone. The Brotherhood of Steel we see in Tactics is the same one as in the scene in this game, or at least is what I think based on the evidence. Fallout Brotherhood of Steel presents what happened to some supermutants of the Master's army after the destruction of the cathedral, led by Addis, a supermutant general similar to Lou. Even if it doesn't look like it, the game sets up this theme from the beginning. The game starts with the Raider matron taking in some slaves, which are sent later to Atticus to be used as... I don't remember fully, but from what I do remember is that they were slaved by some fanatic ghouls to eat them or something similar, and Atticus used them as lab rats to achieve sexual reproduction in supermutants, which is what Addis wants in the first place. The scandal. Yes, that's not the best way to describe the story, but what this game is really about is what happened to those supermutants who remained loyal to the cause, which actually is revealed that most of the supermutants who were with Addis wanted to reverse their mutation, which is what Addis promised them truly. Brotherhood of Steel tried to explain the small gap that was made after the explosion of the cathedral, and in the way, fill Interplay's pockets, which ended in a very poorly received game. A lawsuit for using the engine sent to Black Isle to make the Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance game, and the subsequent bankruptcy and the lack of money to use for Van Buren and other projects, such as Fallout Brotherhood of Steel and Tactics' own sequel. If you play or played the Dark Alliance games, you will notice how similar it is the gameplay, which is because of said lawsuit. The difference being that Fallout had guns, which should have been in the first Fallout to be called Baldur's Gate Guns. Anyhow, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel presents an interesting story in a poorly executed way. The game itself may be fun or unfunny sometimes, but once you're in for the story, you start noticing the small details, such as ghouls can reproduce. The death claws you see in the game are reptiles with spikes that can also turn invisible. The vault you see should have been blown with everyone inside instead of letting them escape, with the exception of one single character, as they low-key did horrible things. Armpit is maybe the only sane character in the entire game, and the Vault Dweller is what people say he is. The game has interesting lore, like the corporate vault experiments, the Texas expedition, Rhombus, what the mayor really wanted for Carbon, and lost cut content. If you want to have the same fun I had, download the game, download PCSX2, go to gamehacking.org, and download the patch file with the cheats. The infinite health sometimes gets turned off, but if you buy good equipment, you won't worry. The game is worth a try with all the cheats turned on, and if you have someone else to play the game with, it'll be twice as fun. Remember that, as Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, there are many more games that don't have enough recognition for what they share, like Call of Duty Roads to Victory or Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops, as well as some games that aren't worth trying out. All that said, goodbye, and thanks for watching the entire video.